Good shot, Carl.
Once you shoot it, it's kind of like falling in love. If it goes boom and makes smoke, I like it.
I've seen people get that far away look in their eyes around a campfire that was started with a flint and steel.
You kind of got two classes of people that shoot muzzleloaders. You got the people that shoot muzzleloaders simply because it just gives him something else to shoot. But then you got another class of people like us, I like to think fondly referred to as the lunatic fringe, that not only shoots muzzleloading, but tries to kind of get into the spirit of the era.
Then he got sailor's dream about cruising around on the salty sea, joined up with a fishing crew, going out to get him a whale or two.
Well, that's all part of the whole historical thing. I mean, back in those days, they didn't have TV or any other kind of entertainment, so you know what people did for entertainment was play music.
We live primitive, we camp primitive, and do everything the way, as far as we know through historical records, that it was done. And shooting's a big part of that.
For some of us, it's a step back in time. It gives us a chance to shoot the same kind of gun that Davy Crockett shot on the new frontier of Kentucky. For some of us, it's a way to limit ourselves, forcing us to get in closer to the game, making it a more difficult hunt.
I'm kind of a novice at the shooting target. I'm more of a hunter. Once I got hooked on this stuff, I built my own pistol. And so now we're going at it. My wife's starting to go at it too.
We shoot every aspect of this. We shoot the inline guns here in the range, and then we shoot the flintlock guns, and we shoot the caplock guns, and we shoot the primitive matches. We in period dress.
Some of us are hunters, some of us are not. Some of us are shooters, some of us are not. There's a lot of people out here that don't even shoot. They just come out to enjoy the social aspect of the whole thing.
All right.
I went to a mountain man rendezvous in Colorado and shot competitively for a few years, and it kind of grew on us, and we decided to start camping and playing primitive mountain men. Kind of a hobby that sort of grew on us, and I've spread it through the rest of my family.
It's actually kind of fun. First of all, they don't know anything about having to live without technology at all. And with this, they're learning how to live without electricity and the comforts at home.
What's it like sleeping with everybody all in here together?
Kind of crowded. You would just have wool and the chairs and something to carry your... Gosh, I don't know, mountain men really didn't have a whole lot. We just do it because we're family. But mountain men carried what was on their back, and that was it.
It's outdoors, and it's super.
It's just the time I get to spend with my family. Boy, I would encourage anybody to do it. It's neat. I don't think that I'll ever stop doing it.
I personally have a lot of interest in the way things used to be done, and the challenge is in really working with it and trying to replicate the way things were done and do it effectively. I was presented with an opportunity to work in the gunsmith shop for the Ohio Historical Society in Columbus, Ohio, and during the course of that basically apprenticed to their master gunsmith. And that put me in a position to build rifles and take it a little bit beyond what I'd be able to get in a kit gun. After all the trials and tribulations of breaking this and breaking that and not doing this quite right and having to repair it, to actually get a working firearm was a very big thrill.
I was a boat builder, I was a boat manufacturer for 30 years, and then in '85 I retired and started building guns and selling gun parts. Oh, that's Penny.
Her job is supervisor. We do what she says.
Looks like a hat with legs.
Yeah. Everything comes off of the original school. They're called school patterns. And there's several school patterns. You have your Tennessee, which I'm from, you have your Maryland. Pennsylvania has a lot of school patterns. And Lebanon, Lancaster, Bedford, and you just go on and on and on. We didn't reinvent this thing. It's been here for years.
they're just beautiful, you know. This is a .40 caliber Kentucky style, you know, target rifle. And it's just, they're so beautiful and they're so fun to shoot, you know, and you just have fun.
When I was a kid, I was raised in the mountains up by Bradshaw's there, and didn't have much to do, so I'd go out looking for arrowheads. Anyway, I'd take and find a piece of rock that I wondered why they didn't make a arrowhead out of, and I'd sit down and try to make one. And most of the time it didn't work, but once in a while I'd get one that looked fairly decent. It's very interesting to me to see what I can make out of a piece of stone. Everybody's interested in the past, you know, or most people are anyway. It gets you kind of back into what happened with your ancestors and such.
I used to think that it would be really fun to spend my life living that type, or living that kind of a life that that those people did, and the more I thought about it, the more I realized that it had to be a miserable, miserable life.
Imagine if somebody was charging at you with a tomahawk and it misfired. You really had a problem. So they really had to have their act together in the old times with their guns.
I've thought about how difficult it must have been for the frontiers people to actually try and settle this part of the country.
If you didn't have a firearm, you had no protection, you had no ability to feed yourself, and it was basically the centerpiece of your life. And it would take as much at that time in terms of your annual earning power to obtain a firearm as it does an automobile today.
I have modern firearms, and I shoot with them and I do hunt with them from time to time, but I still prefer to go out with my black powder rifle and hunt, or just to go out and shoot.
It's our American heritage. This U.S., that's us.
It's a real romanticism that takes you back to a little bit slower paced time, gets you out of this nanosecond world that we live in these days.
How'd you guys do on yours?
For me, I was really into the Daniel Boone thing when I was a kid with, you know, Fess Parker and all that, you know, stuff.
When my grandpa was a boy, he went down to a general store, saw a picture book on whales, shooting their spouts and flashing their
tails. Some of us never grew up.